next up, we have Katelyn Bowden, who is going to talk to us about image-based abuse and also has a makeup tutorial for us. So that's going to be very exciting. But just because we're all social distancing doesn't mean that we can't look good. Katelyn, I've made you presenter.
Hello?
We can.
Can you see me?
I can see now, yes.
All right. All right, are my slides up?
They are.
Okay, sounds good. All right, well, I'll get started quickly because I know I have 40 minutes and I've got a lot to cover. All right, my name's Katelyn Bowden. I am the CEO and founder of the Badass Army, which is a nonprofit organization dedicated to fighting image-based abuse and non-consensual pornography. So I know a lot about this stuff. I'm more than happy to show you guys everything I know and to encourage you all to ask some questions and learn more about this. All right, so the first thing I want to say is there is a warning up. We are going to be covering some topics that it might be triggering to some folks. So I just want to give you a heads up. Totally cool. If you need a break, need to step out. No judgment. All right. All right. Now we're going to start by kind of defining what is image-based abuse. Okay, we have a lot of people like to refer to it as revenge porn, which I hate. Most of us in this industry do, because it's a really big misnomer. The word revenge itself means that this person did something to deserve it. It's very victim blaming in itself. The word pornography also implies that there's some form of consent involved. So, we prefer the terms non-consensual pornography as well as image-based abuse, both of which do cover a lot more than what the term revenge porn does. Because a lot of what we do isn't necessarily an ex that's leaking these photos. Very oftentimes, we're dealing with deepfakes, we're dealing with sextortion, we're dealing with somebody that has gotten hacked, they may have sold a device or something like that, and the person who bought it off of them is now releasing their nudes. They may have had a device stolen, which is what happened to me. And so it covers all of that. Now, when I say what happened to me, it's because, I always like to tell people that the reason I got started with this is because I'm a victim of it. A couple years ago, I was a bartender. I had no idea. I didn't know my VPN from my EXIF. I didn't know anything about tech or leaked nudes or non-consensual pornography. I didn't know about any of that. The only thing I knew about was vague, memories of hearing about something that's happening, when the celebrities all had their nudes leaked. Someone had stolen my ex-boyfriend's phone, and they had done so in order to get the nudes. There's a whole subculture of people on the internet that trade these pictures as if they were, Pokemon cards or baseball cards. Hey, I'll give you Jessica if you'll post a picture of Jennifer, so on and so forth. These are not things that are on the dark net. These are, things that are on the clear net. They're Googleable. They are, they are easy to find, and there's a lot of websites dedicated just to sharing these nudes. So I became a victim of that. And I found out that there was absolutely no, justice for this sort of thing in my state. I lived in Ohio at the time. And even though I had, somebody that confessed to doing it, I had already found out who was behind it. They said no laws were broken. So I never got any sort of justice in my case. And I got really mad and decided to help other people get justice in theirs. First thing we did was help introduce a bill in the state of Ohio, HB 497, which went through. It is now a law that makes it a criminal offense to share pictures of a partner or to share pictures of anybody without their consent, any kind of sexual images. It's just a misdemeanor. It's not, the harshest law, but it is something that is there. It's a good deterrent, most of all. This is the language of the law. No person shall knowingly disseminate, an image from another person. As we all know, obviously, that if the person is under 18, it is a federal crime. But there are, I believe, 53 states now that have laws that would protect adults as well. Now, the problem with this law is that last line, the intent to harm the victim. Trying to prove intent when creating a charge is a really, really difficult thing to do. It's a very high requirement to ask people just investigating the crime to prove the intent. That should be left up to the prosecutor. However, the way the laws are written, they can't even be charged unless that they can prove that they meant to harm. So just want to let everybody watching this know, hey, sharing other people's news without their consent is harmful. Actively harming the person by sharing their news. So now you know, there's your intent. Sorry. So what I've talked about, this whole underground subculture, in these, areas, they are called wins. The pictures themselves are called wins. Do you have wins of so-and-so? And it is a whole win sharing culture. It's a community. They call themselves the exposure community. I've gotten a few emails. People are very mad that I have disrupted the exposure community. But these are the platforms that are used. And there are more. Trust me, this is not the most comprehensive list, but this lets you know how widespread this is. Yes, you see Slack on there. Yes, obviously every social media. I didn't even start listing all the porn sites. But you're also seeing Imgur, you're seeing Facebook Messenger, any messenger service where people can exchange pictures is going to be used to share nudes without consent. That's how that goes. Whisper, we are seeing it more and more on TikTok, which is terrifying because TikTok's audience is usually underage. So in each of these platforms, some are better than others at responding when we have to, send a takedown order. Facebook is actually really great about it. They take things down really quickly, and they have some programs in place. For all of Facebook's flaws, they are really trying to tackle this. The porn sites are great. I had a thread a few weeks ago about how Pornhub is really proactive when it comes to removing pictures and videos that are shared without consent. Realize there's a ton of consensual pornography out there. There are so many people that want you to look at their bodies. So having, stuff on there that people don't want you to see, it's just not necessary, and it just creates an issue for them. This is a screenshot of a little bit of the win culture. Most of you guys will recognize this as 4chan. Obviously, I have edited these. This is 4chan/s. This is a really common place. We do see these images being shared. Oftentimes, they do have doxing information, whether it's full name, where they work, where they go to school, where they're from. It's not quite as bad as some of the websites that are solely dedicated to this. Obviously, if you know anything about 4chan, it's not completely dedicated to this whole win sharing thing. But you can just see with the text how much they objectify us in here. We're not humans anymore. We're just a bunch of pictures of butts and boobs. We're not, we don't have lives outside of just being objects. This is actually one of the websites that's dedicated to sharing these nudes without consent. As you see, this is not a large area they're looking for. Hardin County, Ohio. There's only a few thousand people that live there. It's not a big area. Everybody knows each other. There's Mansfield, but look they're using first, last names. They're saying where they're from. It's not a densely populated area. So this is everywhere. This is just one little tiny piece of Ohio, because these websites dedicate, they separate us into sluts by state, quote unquote. So no matter where you're from, you could be living in the middle of North Dakota, and there is probably a few threads out there, people trading nudes without consent in your town. And these things show up in Google searches. They show up on DuckDuckGo, Bing, any sort of search engines. So when future employers are looking for these people, just doing a quick background look, they are coming up with this. I imagine, you guys can figure out how that works when it comes to employment, especially if somebody is going to school to be a teacher or a nurse or any other job that would require some kind of behavioral contract. Now, most people would say, okay, well, the first thing, maybe you shouldn't take these pictures. If you didn't take these nudes, they wouldn't be out there. This wouldn't be a problem if you girls weren't so slutty. But the truth is, it doesn't matter. Okay, I'll get more into that in a minute, but really it doesn't come down to the girls or the victims, because this happens to men too. This comes down to somebody doing something with someone else's without consent. Okay, if you take the internet out of the equation, you're not allowed to just walk down the street and tear someone's shirt off and expose them to the world. That is illegal. You would go to jail. So the fact that we aren't criminalizing this on the internet is insane. It's really problematic, and it's a big sign of, rape culture to sit here and say it is completely the victim's fault. Now, mind you, there are ways to go about doing this safely. You don't want to, just send them to everybody that could possibly ask. Obviously you want to, reserve these images for a trusted partner, or, just do a little research with the person, figure out who they are, if there's somebody that you can trust. And these are ways that you can minimize it, but really when it comes down to it, you don't even have to take nudes to be a victim of this. We've all been hearing about deep fakes. Now, mind you, when you're doing deep fakes, that takes a lot of data to create those pictures. They have to get a lot of pictures from social media. Now, mind you, if you do, go on most people's social media, you'll get enough pictures. A lot of people do take selfies. They're tagged in photos. All you need to do is get a wide variety of images that are from different angles, different lighting, that sort of thing. But there is other technology out there like deep nudes. They only need one photo. That's it. One photo and a couple clicks, wait a few minutes, and the clothes are gone. Now, mind you, they aren't perfect. The scariest thing about deep nudes is that it is incredibly gendered. No matter what picture is on there, they're going to add a female vulva and a set of breasts. So obviously, we know what that tech is being used for. But we also, for a very long time, have seen fake nudes. And what those are photoshopped images. They're changed to appear to be the victim, or they're just other porn stars that happen to look like somebody. I mean, you can catch a still of a porn image from a video, where their head is turned, and they just vaguely look enough like one person that you can take that to one of those win sharing websites and say it's that person. And that person is left with no justice whatsoever, because they can't even press criminal charges because it's not them in the image. They also have an issue with removal, because the way that we're able to get things down is by using DMCA, the Digital Millennium Copyright Act, and it's not them in the image. They don't have the copyright. They're not able to claim a copyright infringement on that. So these are different ways that you can sext a little safer. Obviously, if someone is pressuring you to do something that you're not comfortable with, you shouldn't do it. I think that's very basic, and that goes along with a lot of things that, when it comes to sex ed and things like that, that people aren't really, learning when it comes to sex, is that you don't have to do things that you're not comfortable with. That's it. You can say no. No is a complete sentence. Make sure that you have your boundaries ready and you're sticking to them. You're not allowing yourself to be violated in the way that you're not respecting your own boundaries. You deserve that kind of respect. Only show nudes to the partner that you trust. Like I said, you can also, if you're somebody that likes to have multiple partners at once, that is fine. Just make sure that they all are aware of what your boundaries are. And you also want to spell out your wishes to each one. You want to explicitly state in writing I do not want these images to be leaked or shared. And one thing that you can do is grab a screenshot of that. If somehow these images do get out, then you have a little bit of recourse with that. Your lawyer will thank you for having that screenshot. Always communicate with your partner. This is just basic sex ed stuff. You always want to check and make sure, like, hey, they're not hanging out with grandma at that moment that you want to send a nude. Make sure you get consent to send as well as getting consent to receive. And then you also want to make sure that your partner is also keeping their data secure. When it comes to my personal, experience, my ex did not even lock his phone, and I was dumb enough to send him nudes. I am well aware that was on me a little bit. But when it came down to it, it was on the person who stole the phone. But had I encouraged him to have better security practices, things could be very different. Casey, it's not changing. Sorry, I'm not tech savvy. If you all know this, I hope you do by now. I talk about it all the time. Anyway, so that is my brief overview. Obviously, with longer talks, I can get more in depth in this, and I'm always happy to answer questions and share the knowledge I know. I didn't get into watermarking. That is one more way that you can sex safely, is to watermark images with the recipient's name. That way, if they do leak, you know who leaked them, and you can prove that in a courtroom. So anyway, you can follow the Badass Army. That's the organization that I run at @thebadass_army. We're also www.badassarmy.org. And then you can also follow me on Twitter. So do we have any questions? I know I just went through a lot of stuff, all very quickly. No questions at all? I can't see if anyone is typing anything, so.
Let's see. Looking through the Q&A.
Okay. Yeah, I can't see the Q&A right now.
Edith asked if you can include the websites that you're referencing in your talk, and I'm not sure which websites Edith was referring to, but.
I assume she means the wind sharing websites. I'd rather not give them the URLs. I assure you they're out there and you would probably be able to find them easily, but I will be damned if I'm going to advertise those guys. So
Totally
sorry.
Understandable. Melinda asks if some states are better at protecting victims than others.
Absolutely. Some states they have a little bit more flexibility when it comes to that intent law, as well as some of them do have other specifications written into laws for things like deep fakes or doxing. And then some are even worse than Ohio's. Ohio's about middle ground. Some are worse, as in they require it to be an ex-partner. So if you weren't in an established relationship with the person that leaked your nudes, you have absolutely no recourse. So it depends. Some states are better, some states are worse. We've got one law going through in Mississippi, of all places, that is would actually really change things because it's written so well. Anything else?
Let's see if there's anything new. Somebody wants to know where they can get that shirt.
Oh, you can get this shirt at the Badass Army shop, www.badassarmy.org/shop or /store. I don't know. There's if you go to our website for Badass Army, you can see the shop, and we've got a lot of really cool shirts. We also have we just got our logo redesigned to be all like that metal tree where you can barely read it. And we have the info slut shirts as well.
There is a question about, do you know if more states are planning to add bills like Ohio? And if so, is there any traction on creating something like COPA in regards to consent matters?
I know that there's a lot of things going through right now. I believe right now we only have laws that would just be working against the revenge porn laws in a few states, but we're also working on getting a federal law that would fill in the gaps between those states. As we know, the internet is not just your little neighborhood. So somebody leaking your news could be from across the country or even outside of the country. And a lot of people find themselves with nobody willing to cross those jurisdictional lines. So we are working on a federal law that we've introduced with Representative Jackie Spear that would fill in the gaps.
And do you have any advice for people in the security community that might be pen testers or anything like that about the best way that they can help out?
The best way that anyone can help out is really just letting people know that we're here and having those conversations regarding consent, whether it's with your partner, whether it's with your kids, just talking to people about what consent means when it's translated online. A lot of people have a pretty decent grasp of, asking for permission in real life, but when it comes to the internet, a lot of people are really missing that connection. So I think that is really the biggest hurdle that we've come across, is really expressing how consent and agency can play a role over the internet as well. So that is really the biggest way anyone can help out. We are working on getting some more volunteer opportunities for people. Right now, we are taking a little bit of a break just because it is, with everything else going on, the emotional work of trying to talk to victims at the very worst time is gonna break us if we keep trying. I mean, there's a lot of emotions going on with everybody right now that's dealing with this pandemic, and it's a lot. So once we get back, we are hoping to, really, we're doing a rebranding, we're changing a lot of things around. We're getting our goals a little bit clearer, and we do plan on introducing a better way for everybody that wants to volunteer to help, give their time to badass.
Someone wants to know if you have any experience with fighting this sort of thing outside the USA.
Oh, absolutely. In fact, most of these websites that I've talked about that are ClearNet are hosted overseas, especially in places that don't recognize copyright. One of the recent ones that we've seen crop up is, a Russian URL. So we're seeing it a lot overseas. There's a huge issue with it in the UK as well as Australia. In fact, it is in Australia, I believe it's almost 1 in 4 or 5 social media users have experienced some form of image abuse. So it's not just limited to the USA. It's a global issue, and it's something that, as more people are relying on technology to communicate and foster relationships, it's just going to become a bigger and bigger issue. Are we ready to do the makeup tutorial? I got TC here, and he is ready to go. He cannot wait to get ready.
I definitely think that we're ready to do the makeup now. I'm not seeing any more questions.
All right, awesome. Okay, so I am going to be doing a little bit of a makeup tutorial. A lot of people ask me to do my makeup, but I don't have the guts to get on here without makeup to do it before. So luckily my husband, my wonderful husband, if you don't know him, TC Johnson, is more than happy to allow us to use this gorgeous face to demonstrate some makeup. Say hi.
Hi.
Yeah.
Could you remove the slides so that we get a bigger camera for this?
Let's see. I guess I just turn off screen share, huh?
Is that it?
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Awesome. All right. For those of you guys wondering, we just moved, so there's it's a little messy around here. It's not our usual mess anyway. So anyway, I had TC prep while I was talking. He used the Urban Decay eyeshadow primer, as well as my NYX matte skin primer as well.
I almost lost an eye too, because I'm not used to sticking things towards my eye, so it was hard.
Well, beauty is pain. All right. So I understand that my way of doing makeup might not be the way that everybody else does. I tend to focus on the things that I'm most likely to screw up first. I really shake some people to the core when I mention that I do brows and shadow first. All right, so I told you what he used to prime. And this is what I'm using for brows. This is a ancient elf brow kit. And then I am just using, I don't even know, it might have came with the kit. As you can tell, I'm very fancy. All right, tilt your head up, please. And basically what we're gonna do is just fill in the brows. Okay, I'm not one of those people that, you know, you need to add a ton of extra brows, completely change the shape. I just fill in what's already there.
Will it cover up the gray ones?
Yeah, a little bit. This is an awkward position. Now, when doing eyebrows, you don't have to make them be twins. As long as they're sisters, it's okay. If you haven't heard that before, it's something people should remember. They don't have to be exactly the same. All right, so I am going to be doing a bright green look on TC here. I'm going to be using this Anastasia palette that actually InfoSec Taylor got this for me, and I love it. And it's got some great colors, as you see, some really bright neons. She got this for me for Christmas. And I'm going to start with, I don't know the name, C1. And I'm just using a flat brush because I want to apply a lot of color. Close your eyes, tilt your head up, please. And we're just going to apply this right in the inner corners. I always go from light to dark and work my way out. Try to relax your eyes. Thank you. Now,
relax when you're attacking them.
I'm attacking his eyes. Nice use of hyperbole right there. And I always just bring the extra up to accentuate the brow line. Next, I'm going to be going with this lime green, which I love that lime green. I'm going to be filling in the middle. Now, mind you, I'm not blending yet. I'm just putting the color on. I'm just trying to get it on the eyelid as generally where I want it. That's why I'm not using a big, fluffy brush. I'm using a flat brush just because right now the goal is to just put the color on. For those that know me, know that I love green eyeshadow. So next I'm going to use this E3 for the outer lids. And then I'm going to bring that around. Okay, and you just want to use this outer corners and then up into that hollow right there. I don't even know what you'd call that. I watch enough makeup tutorials, but this is the first time I've ever done one, like in front of people. So if I'm awful at it, that's why. I'm not even going to say I'm sorry. I'm letting you know. All right, now comes blending. And I am using, I don't even know, it's a double-ended blending brush to be fancy. We're just gonna blend this in, blend these colors together a little bit. Now mind you all, this is just all in fun. Makeup should be fun. That's all. You know, just have fun with it. Get creative. Try different things. Sometimes they'll work, sometimes they won't, but just try it. Now I'm going to use the other end of this brush. It's slightly fluffier than the first one I was using to add color. I'm going to use this A3. It's a shiny lime green. Right there in the middle, close to the lash line, to accentuate that. And then I want to fill in just a little bit more of the dark out in the corners. And then up into the crease. That's the word I was looking for, crease. Words are hard. All right, so TC open. As you see, looking beautiful so far. Close. You gotta do the.
It is. Just close them.
Close them, and then you gotta open slowly for the camera.
Do I to make patty
Yeah, that's perfect.
like that? Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Now I'm gonna be doing the concealer foundation. And I know everyone was really mad when I brought this up yesterday that I do this in this order, but that's because, as you see here, I am messy and we only have like green under circles. So this is gonna help cover that. Now, when it comes to concealing under eye circles, because I don't know about you guys, but I am perpetually exhausted. And I use a good red tinted, it's got a little bit of pink tint to it, concealer, because that really does wonders with concealing under eye circles. Now, mind you, I'm also not great, here, look up, please, at putting makeup on other people. I am not used to that. It's been a while. So yeah, I'm just letting y'all know my limitations here. Now, you're gonna wanna blend. I like these big fluffy beauty blenders. And to do that, you just kind of tap and just smudge it. Look up, please. Tap and smudge. You'll be okay, I promise. I'm not gonna poke it into your eye. Chill.
Tell my eye that.
I'm not poking it into your
I'm
eye.
not
It's a
controlling
big
it.
blunt object. You're fine. Okay, it's not like it's gonna stab you in the eye.
These are involuntary reactions. I can't be held accountable.
Okay, face me a little bit. Is that primer in your?
Probably.
Oh wow. All right.
You said to make sure that I put primer in my beard.
No, I said don't worry about the beard. Look up. Because we're not. Right now we have the coronavirus, and so we're all wearing masks. And so I actually made a special mask, which you guys will see in a minute. Look up, please. For PancakesCon, please open.
I'm trying. I can't open my eye.
Okay, okay.
Doesn't work.
See, as you see, you know, a little bit lighter underneath the eyes. The next step is some foundation. I prefer this Catrice Cosmetics liquid coverage foundation. It's actually super cheap. It's like 10 bucks a bottle, but it works really well. And you just want to add a little bit. Now, mind you, like I said, we're wearing masks right now, so you don't have to worry about anything below here. All right. And then you just do the same thing. You blend.
soft jackhammer.
Yep, pretty much. Beauty is pain. My husband is well aware. I will walk down the street, and if I see somebody that like I can tell put a little bit of effort into their look, I'm just like, oh my God, your makeup looks amazing. And I'm just that person. But now, maybe y'all will understand why I do that, because I know how much effort went into it. This isn't the easiest thing, especially if you are like me and naturally look like a bridge troll. Luckily, with TC working on this here and letting him being my canvas for this bit of artwork, I have a much lovelier canvas to start off with than what I'm used to.
Oh, stop.
You're just so pretty. All right, now comes contouring, which is super fun. All right, for contouring, I like to use more concealer. I use the NYX NYX HD. This is just very light, and lighter than I would normally use for any kind of concealer. And then I go along. You want to highlight any pieces of your skull that stick out. I know that sounds weird, but that's basically what you're doing. You want to put some in the middle of your nose, up here through the forehead. And I like to add that little tiny bit that makes you look like you got one of those ski slope noses. Because why not?
More jackhammer.
Yep. And we're going to blend more.
That's a fast one.
Mm-hmm. Look up, please. Don't worry. Or not with your face, with your eyes. Thank you. Here we go. This is just, highlighting the brow bone. Tip your nose.
I wonder how many people are just dying right now.
Well,
Drinks coming
this
out.
is not good timing to say that. I'm just saying.
Oh, okay. Bad phrasing.
Yeah,
Bad
phrasing. Come on.
Laughing very hard, belly laughs. How many people are belly laughing right now?
All right, so I'm gonna also be using some bronzer. This is the Wander Beauty Trip to Costa Rica. It's like a nice pale bronzer. And how that works is I start it up in the hairline, honestly. You're gonna put this around the hairline. You're gonna want to accentuate, this is where you accentuate the shadows. Those of you who know about camouflage know that, normally you would, I don't know, how does that work? You can have me get that backwards.
Let's see.
You use the light colors.
Trying to make your face flat. So you want to put the dark colors on the ridges and light colors in the hollows, I think.
Okay.
It's been like 15 years. I don't remember.
All right, and then you also want to do that below the brow bone to create a shadow.
I think they gave us like one PowerPoint slide on that in basic training.
And then you want to also use that to shape the nose a little bit. Ski slope right there. All right. And then you're going to want to add just a teensy little bit of blush. Oh, I broke that.
The brush exploded.
I fixed it. Just a little bit of blush. I have no idea what kind of blush this is. I got it in an Ipsy bag like a few months ago. It's pink.
Ah.
Oh, you're not supposed to blow on that and then put it on their face because it's not sanitary normally, but it's my husband. He's got all my germs. He has all my germs. All right, and then you're gonna want to set that.
Can't see myself.
It's okay. You look beautiful. Absolutely gorgeous, darling. I use the Kat Von D Set It powder. And all that does is make it so it sets. You don't want makeup rubbing off on your masks and stuff. So there you go. Next step is eyeliner. And for this one, I am going to do the Sex Kitten Liquid Liner by Tarte. And I just realized, all right, I'm gonna finish it up real quick. Close your eyes, please. I just realized I'd never really put liquid on other people that much. So this could be real bad. In fact, I'm just gonna go ahead and say, yes, this is gonna be real bad. I apologize.
Not getting wings.
Yes, of course. And you want to wing that eyeliner here. I want to tilt your head a little bit. You want to wing it out. You also want to, what I do is I go backwards to get a really sharp point. And you want to bring it down in the lashes. Oh, Lord, this is not going to be even. I mess this all up. I am so sorry. If you guys want to learn how to do eyeliner correctly and not from me, you know, there's other tutorials on YouTube. I really like Nikki tutorials. I like her a lot. She's really down to earth and explains things in a way I get. As you guys can probably guess, I am much better at doing my own makeup than I am at doing my husband's, but oh well. Oh gosh, that's real bad. Whoa. Sorry. I tried.
I got a hot quarantine date later. I'm sure she'll understand.
Better. All right, so finish this off by adding a little mascara. I was gonna put lashes on him, but long story short, his teenage son used all my lash glue to put a googly eye on our cat. So
Yeah, but where did he learn that from?
I might have had some influence in that. No regrets.
Ready for this?
1 second, we gotta highlight real quick. Just highlight real quick, okay. Highlight's very important. You cannot highlight enough. Yes, you can. I've seen some really bad highlight where people just look like they were dipped in gold and it's not a good look. So you wanna highlight around the brow, or not the brow, the cheekbones, and down the nose and up around the brows. There we go. And like I said, it is, you know, makeup in the time of the coronavirus. So you don't have to worry about anything below your nose. No lipstick. In fact, I don't recommend it because it's just going to get on the inside of your mask and make it harder to breathe through it. And as you see, if you didn't know, I've been making masks and donating them to whoever needs them. But I did make a wonderful one for TC just for today. It has pancakes all over it for PancakesCon. Please ignore his eyeliner because I am terrible. But ta-da!
I'm smiling, but you can't see it.
All right, I hope everybody is staying safe. Be kind to one another and don't touch your face. Wash your hands.
We
I'm
do
done.
have a couple of questions on the makeup section, if you don't mind. A little bit of time. Someone was wanting to know if you would be doing anything differently if he was going to be wearing glasses.
I might accentuate the eyeliner a little bit. If he was going to be wearing glasses, as well as, and I didn't get to do this, curl the lashes. That way they don't hit the glasses and get them all smudgy. But yeah, no, other than that, I don't really change it too much when I wear glasses.
Someone was asking, what concealer brand do you use or recommend?
I use both for both of these. This is a NYX concealer. I like these because they have in both the liquid form as well as the little pots. And I use the liquid form for contouring, and I use the little pots because they have a lot of pink tones. Like I said, you want to use pink tones to cover dark circles, and I don't sleep, so covering dark circles is really important.
And are there any specific makeup brands you like to use?
I really like to use Urban Decay. I do like NYX, NYX. I don't even know if you say that. I think NYX is the brand, like some lice brand or something. I don't know. We're gonna roll with that. I like the NYX brand because it is a little bit more affordable. As most of you know, I am just poor as hell, so I love the more affordable brands that can bring the quality as well. Jeffree Star comes out with some amazing, amazing lipsticks and lip glossies that I prefer, as well as the Morphe has some great palettes out there for eyeshadows.
And a question that got asked, and I'll make this the last one, and I'm also curious about this. Do you dampen your beauty blender or do you use it dry?
I have dampened it before, and I do sometimes. It depends on my mood. If I'm going to be on camera, I usually don't because, like I said, bridge troll. So I want to cover everything as much as possible. And when you dampen your beauty blender, it tends to, make things a little sheerer. I don't want things to be sheer. I want you to see makeup. I don't want you to see me. So I know you're supposed to dampen your beauty blender. Just depends on how I'm feeling that day. I also should probably wash my brushes more. In fact, I recommend everybody, while you're in quarantine, wash your makeup brushes. We have the time. Do it.
Well, thank you very much, Katelyn, for both halves of this. And thank you, TC, for joining us the second half.
Thank you.
Our next presentation is by Juno on reconnaissance and exploitation with the Nmap scripting engine and the physics of stringed instruments.